have a lot of extra time to talk about things outside of the shop. Yeah. It's a nice platform to be able to bounce ideas off of one another. Since we already have a rapport of communication regarding other things in life, we can kind of have a simple way of getting business out of the way. I am. Yep. I am the certified level. So level 2, if you're counting all 4 of them. But yeah, I am the level at which you are allowed to say proudly, I am a sommelier. True. The building that we're in was built in 1907. So there was a kind of a 1-2 punch of having the space be turn of the century, as well as the aesthetic that we wanted to cultivate coinciding with that more or less time period, given a couple of decades. But the original idea was to kind of cultivate this library feel. Instead of books, we have bottles. Well, we have books as well, but the bottles are why we're all there. The vision was fairly raw before we actually saw this specific space. When we were putting the idea for the business together, we knew we kind of wanted the general feel of what it looks like now, but we didn't really know what the layout was going to be, what the building facades were going to include. So when we saw the space, and which came with the bar that is there, which if we had to pin down, we think probably it was built sometime in the 40s, 50s, and then brought into that space in the 70s. That's at least as far as we've gotten with the narrative of that. Mm-hmm. There was exposed brick, the 1.5-inch maple floors, which they don't exist anymore really, or at least they're not made currently. And then that old bar, it was the absolute perfect kind of setting in which to execute the full launch of our aesthetic idea. Yes, the answer is it was categorically a wine journey, but it actually started with beer. My very first beverage industry job was at a store where we had a pretty good craft beer selection, and this was in 2006. So craft beer was pretty nascent still. It was, we didn't have a craft brewery on every corner, kind of like we do now. And it was fun and exciting to dive into that beverage world through the craft beer scene, because everyone was so gung-ho about this kind of thing. Yeah. And the energy and the passion for beer was really strong. Obviously still is. But it quickly turned into wine because I started working for a restaurant that was more wine-focused. Solid beer list, but the majority of what they were doing there to balance the cuisine was wine, and the people who own the restaurant were very focused on education about wine.
That's great.
Yeah, and then one thing leads to another, and by the time you know it, you're tasting blind all the time, studying for the somm exam, carousing with friends who are also very keen on kind of building a knowledge and enjoyment of wine in general. I am not. I moved here in 2015 with Rebecca. I am originally from California, Sacramento. I took the road less traveled, I suppose.
For sure.
Born in Chico, raised in Sacramento. I went to college in Redding, so back up north again. And then when I graduated in 2005, I moved to Bloomington, Indiana, where I basically, that was the start of my career with food service, beverage service, wholesale, the whole kit and caboodle. Rebecca is basically from the Milwaukee area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she had been going to undergrad. I moved out there, got a master's degree in library science.
Oh, cool.
We met when I was making a wholesale call to the restaurant that had launched my wine interest to begin with. So she was working there while I was trying to sell them wine.
Trying to sell
Trying
wine.
to. I succeeded in some degree, but I think I was too distracted by, her specifically. Yeah. No, I was working at a restaurant that the owners quite simply were very willing to help pay for the entry level course that one takes as the launching point for the Somm trajectory. And so I took them up on that after I had watched the film Somm, the very first one. And I'd already been working with wine in both a retail and on-premise and wholesale distribution for 5 years by the time that happened. So I thought, this is probably worth my time and energy. And if they're going to pay for it, I'm absolutely going to do it. And it was great. It was really, really fantastic for them to step up and do that. But that was basically the launching point. I think the thing that film succeeds at is showing the rigors of going through the process, although those folks are at the very tip-top level trying to pass their master's. I like the academic part of it. It's fun to know facts about these kinds of things, and I ultimately think that having that experience and knowledge makes me a better wine shop owner. But the tasting of the stuff is really the best part. Our website is thelmacarolwine.com, and that's THELMACAROL wine.com. Phone number is area code 414-312-8244.